Hey gearheads, and welcome to Garage Talk. I'm Corey, and this is Hyundai's compact SUV, their volume seller. This is the 2022 Hyundai Tucson. This is the top trim limited grade with HTRAC all-wheel drive. And in this video, we're going to take you around and see how it drives. Starting under the hood of the 2022 Hyundai Tucson, you get Hyundai's 2.5 liter four-cylinder, making 187 horsepower and 178 pound-feet of torque. Mated to an 8-speed automatic transmission, and this particular one has Hyundai's HTRAC all-wheel drive, which will actually let you lock the front and rear differentials together so you're equally distributing power front and rear. But what I really want to talk about is the styling of this vehicle. Hyundai brand in general, their family of brands, Hyundai, Genesis, and Kia, they are all just going crazy in their styling department, and I love it because their vehicles don't look like anything else on the road. They really are setting the bar for style and design. Starting up front here with the daytime running lights that just blend seamlessly into the grille here. If these were off, they would look just like the other facets of this dark chromed grille. Flanked by LED turn signals that actually even have a inward pointing light shining right here. I don't know if you can see that. So you can see it from all types of angles. Speaking of angles, there are many angles on this vehicle. You've got sharp creases and lines everywhere. You even get this body line that follows and flows off of the headlights here. You get this sharp crease flowing down the fender underneath the hood. You get this sharp line coming off the hood. Tons and tons of body lines moving down the side, but I still want to focus a little bit up front here because while these are the daytime running lights, the headlights are actually down here in a separate unit. This trend actually started with the 2014, 2013 Jeep Cherokee. Everybody just went crazy lambasting that and saying it was a terrible design, and now everybody is stealing it. You see it on this, you see it on the Chevy Blazer, Chevy Trailblazer, a lot of different vehicles, but very big design scheme going on here. Now, you do have actual, it's hard to tell from this angle, but actual air curtains going around the front fender that drop air back here into the wheel well and help get air around the front of the vehicle. You get nice 19-inch wheels on this limited model, but now that we're along the side here, we can really look at all of the body lines. There's that body line from the headlights I talked about. You get this dipping, sloping line here from the front fender that comes to a point that matches up with this point, that matches up with this point, that matches up with... There are just so many lines and angles. This body crease follows this body crease. This body crease wraps all the way around the back. There's a line that follows the taillights here. There's the wheel arch. There's a crease right here, a crease going into the crease, creases on creases, angles on angles. There is a lot of interesting design here on the side of the Tucson. And we haven't even talked about this floating roof design with this satin silver piece up here. Very nice touch, very classy look. So many high-end SUVs or top trims of SUVs are putting chrome strips around the entire window greenhouse area, where Hyundai just does a simple satin strip from the windshield back here to the back, and it works. All this is cohesive in its design language and makes this a very unique vehicle in the compact SUV class. Moving around back, we start to see a little more of those designs from up front in the grille. You can see them all here in the tail lights. Very angular look here, and it's also even repeated down here in this diamond pattern down on the bottom bumper. You do have a bumper mounted turn signal back here in the back, because federal regulations mean this fixed light has to do all of the work. It needs to be your stop lamp and everything. You cannot have a movable, functional light without at least some redundancy. So this is your brake light. This is your turn signal down here. Looking at the back, you have a hidden wiper up here underneath the roof mounted spoiler. Even this third mounted brake light has got more of that diamond pattern in it. I don't even know if you can focus in on it that much, but that diamond pattern is really integrated into this vehicle. You get the Hyundai logo under glass here. This is actually a textured 3D Hyundai logo, but it is under a piece of glass so that it always stays clean and shiny. It just gets covered up in dirt. And then you've got this full width LED light bar that also has a very unique textured design in it as well. Get your backup camera here, which means your power hatch release is down low. Not my favorite, because that spot right there will accumulate a lot of road grime. If it were up above the license plate, it'd be a little bit better. Moving back to the back, there is tons of room here in this Tucson. 60/40 split bench seat. You've got a false load floor that hides your spare tire. It is a donut. It's only a temporary. Not a lot of foam or sound deadening material back here, because they are saving a little bit of money. But nice, good load floor here. Very easy to get into. One thing I do like is back here, you do have rear seat releases. So you can actually fold the rear seat from inside the rear compartment. But because of this being a world car, interestingly enough, the 60/40 split bench seat is backwards. Normally, in most vehicles, the 40% is on the passenger side. I know this because that's where I always put Tucker's car seat, and the 60% side is on the other side. So if you've got a car seat in place on the passenger side, you're only going to have a small 40% pass through. Other than that, it's a very large, spacious rear compartment. I really do like those rear seat releases, and you even have a 120 volt cigarette style power outlet back here. The trunk or hatch close button is up here on the tailgate, and this actually does have Hyundai's Smart Key Smart Hatch technology that will open this rear hatch if you've locked it, walked away, gone shopping, and come back and stand back here behind it. But I'm gonna have to turn the vehicle off to show you that feature. All right, so Hyundai's Smart Access Key, it is a proximity key that works for both the front doors, because there's a little pad on the back, but it actually has smart key technology for the rear hatch back here. You just need to stand with the key on your person. It'll start beeping because it'll recognize that you're back here, and it'll open the hatch. So if you have your hands full from the grocery store, you just walk up back here, stand here for a little bit, and then load it in. Once your hands are free, hit the button, and walk away. Another smart feature of the Hyundai Smart Key is Smart Pack or Smart Park. You lock it, push and hold the remote start button, which will start the vehicle up. Then there are directional buttons to move it forward or backwards. I'm actually going to back it up. You can see here, it'll actually straighten out the wheel and start moving the vehicle back to get you in a more optimum position for getting in and out if somebody parks too close to you. Its standard distance that it will operate is moving from one spot to another. As you can see, we've dropped from one to another here. Now it's just ready for me to hop in. Smart key here. I don't have to push any buttons because the vehicle is already running, but I push the button for drive after putting my foot on the brake, moves my seat into position, and I'm ready to go. No need to push the engine start stop button because it's already running. All right, sitting in the driver's seat of the 22 Tucson, it is a very comfortable seat with two-person memory settings here. It does have an entry and exit function, but I'll show you that here in just a second. You've got your lock switches, window switches, express up and down for the front two windows, but just power rear windows in this with your rear seat lockout. I'm going to close the door here to show you that when you start the vehicle, it automatically slides me back up into place, and then we get a full digital gauge cluster up front here. But if you want to hop in, we can go through all of the different features here in the interior of this 22 Hyundai Tucson. Starting with the gauge cluster. So it is a full screen. There is no analog feature to it. And it has multiple different modes that coincide with the drive mode. So here I am in normal. It's blue and white. It's very calm and serene. I can switch it over here into sport mode, and you've got this carbon fiber look, and it's red and racy. And as you rev the engine here, you can see this red line that follows the needle, and as the needle sweeps over each of the numbers on the tachometer, they amplify and get bigger. Same happens with the speedometer, just nowhere near as quickly. You also have smart mode, which kind of goes back to that blue feature, and that actually learns your driving behavior. So if you drive a little bit with a heavier foot, it'll learn that and give you a little more throttle response. And then snow mode, which gives you a little more traction when things get less than ideal. You also have multiple different functions here that you can scroll through, from drive info, your fuel economy. You can see we're getting over 25 mpg in mixed driving, your posted current speed, your posted speed, your directions, your all-wheel drive, where the power is going, your driver retention level. All kinds of things can be found in that gauge cluster. Moving to the steering wheel, it's a very unique four-spoke design. It's very ergonomic, so the slope going back here to the back works perfectly for grabbing it like this and giving you access to your sport shifters, which I haven't really used that much. I think they're kind of a waste in a vehicle like this. You get your driver assistance features here, your lane keep, your adaptive cruise control, and then over here you get all of your stereo controls on the steering wheel on your left side. Moving to the center stack, you get a very large widescreen touchscreen infotainment system that does support Apple CarPlay and Android Auto if you have a cord. There, for some reason, all of Hyundai, Kia, Genesis's upscale bigger screens do not include wireless CarPlay, but the cheaper screens do. But you can see there's a lot of stuff here. It's very quick and responsive. I'm going to turn the fan down just a little bit. You've got map, phone protection, your climate control in here as well. So you can really go through and customize whatever you want. You can update the interior lighting in here, whatever the case may be. This even has Hyundai's Sounds of Nature. So if you want to imagine yourself on the beach, well, here you go. And that takes me to perhaps my least favorite feature of this vehicle is the touch controls for volume. I've found myself using the steering wheel mounted controls because it's a whole lot quicker than just tapping over and over here on the haptic buttons up here up front. Same is true with your temperature controls and all your climate controls. They're not actually buttons, they're touch sensitive areas on this screen that is piano black. It does accumulate fingerprints and dust. You can see it here. Not my favorite design, but it does give the overall design a very cohesive look. You get this black line that flows into your air vents, that flows down the side of this center console and down the side here. It actually wraps around the sides of this center panel as well. That is also gloss piano black, but it does have all of the actual buttons in this vehicle. So you actually have buttons for ventilated and heated seats. Kudos to Hyundai. These ventilated seats actually stay on if you turn the vehicle off and on. So here in East Texas, these they stay on for me all the time. You've got a button for your heated steering wheel, hill descent control, your parking sensors, your 360 camera function here as well. So you can see multiple different camera views, and even a button here for trailering. So that's very nice. And then even the passenger seat has heated and ventilated seats. Right here, you've got your auto start stop defeat switch, your locking center differentials here. I said front and rear, I meant center differentials. And then your drive mode switch that lets you cycle through all your different drive modes. You have a fully push button transmission gear selector here. It's quick, easy to use and learn, and it enables that smart park feature that we had earlier, electronic parking brake, and auto hold for stop and go traffic. Nice center console here. It's rubberized. This isn't real leather, but it opens up wide and nice. Very comfortable front seat here. And because you've got this electronic gear selector, you do have additional storage space under here. No full pass-through, which is kind of a miss in today's design, but does allow you some extra storage here. And I didn't even mention the Qi wireless charger up in this little cubby as well. It is a little creaky and a little bit rattly, not as nice as their premium Genesis brands, but a very nice vehicle up front. I'm going to hop in the back now and show you just a little bit of what it is like riding in the rear seat of this Hyundai Tucson. The back seat of the Hyundai Tucson, so it is a compact SUV. I'm going to be sitting behind myself here at 5'10". There is plenty of room. Hyundai has done a very good job packaging the space in this vehicle very well. The seat right now is very upright and is its most upright position, but it does recline rather far back, so I can get into a very comfortable seating position back here. I could traverse the entire country back here. There is so much room. It is very nice back here, and I even have a heated seat here and on the passenger side. Unfortunately, that middle seat does become a penalty seat, but there is a fold-down center armrest here with a couple of cup holders. You have a couple of air vents back here, no controls for a third zone, and a couple of USB-A ports, map pockets with some mesh lining in here, so small things will fall out, but very easy to get in and out of. Very comfortable rear seat in this Hyundai Tucson, and then I have full advantage of this massive panoramic sunroof. It's dark tinted, so it doesn't get too hot in here, and it comes all the way back that even in my reclined position, all I'm seeing is sky. It is a very nice rear seat here in the back of the Hyundai Tucson. Setting off in the 22 Tucson, I really thought it would take me longer to get used to the push button gear selector, but it really hasn't even been a thing since we got into it. Quick, easy to use. There is this little ridge on drive that lets you know just from a glance, or not a glance as the case may be, that you're in drive. Parks up here by itself. But all this enables that smart park feature, which I really like, that if you had a mechanical gear selector here, wouldn't even be possible. Rolling around in this, it's quiet, it's comfortable, very well put together. There are a few creaks, but as far as driving down the road, it's a very calm environment. The only real noise is my son's child seat back there in the back. Otherwise, a pretty calm ride. There is a little bit of creaking going on with the sunroof here. I'm actually going to drop it into sport drive mode as we head out on this main road here in just a second. What that does, turns off the auto start stop. So It also changes throttle response and things of that nature. And like I mentioned earlier, gives you this really cool sporty gauge cluster with the carbon fiber look and the red that really screams that it is a sporty vehicle. But with 187 horsepower in a front wheel drive crossover platform, how sporty can it really be? Let's give it a little and see. Come on. Yeah. 187 horsepower is not enough to really incur a sport mode, but it does allow you to get out there and get going a little bit faster than if you were in Smart or any other drive mode. So I do like that. It changes your shift points as well. I've mentioned it before. I drive a 6-speed manual daily. Paddle shifters, especially in 187 horsepower crossover, it's too much. It's not really my cup of tea. I'm not really going to be doing a lot of sport shifting with these paddle shifters. It's a redundancy that you don't need, but gives you, that impression that you've got something a little more fun than you actually do. It would be interesting to really test out this HTRAC all-wheel drive with the locking center differential. The term soft rotor comes to mind. I have not taken this off the pavement, nor do I think many owners will. It'll be plenty of power and traction to get you down any campsite road, any national park or anything like that. But as far as real off-road prowess, best not to go after a Tucson if you're really looking to do some serious off-roading. But this will have enough traction for normal usage by most folks. So not knocking that too much. And like I said, I have not really gotten to test this out off the pavement. But yeah, that 187 horsepower just really isn't up to spirited, fun, high-speed, go-at-it driving. And that's okay, because this is a family vehicle. It's built for families, and how it transports families is more important than how fun it is to drive. Mazda CX-5 is really the fun to drive crossover in this class, and that is the one that you really want to be shopping for if you're looking for any sort of spirited, crazy driving. I'm going to do one more rolling test, drop it here into sport mode. I'll go ahead and give it a few downshifts on the paddle. Okay. And then put it back in 5th gear. I'm going to put it back in normal mode. It's fine. Again, I'm not buying this if I want a sporty zoom, invigorating driving vehicle. You buy this because it's calm and comfortable and does what you want it to do when you want it to do it. I, in fact, don't actually know how to put this 8-speed automatic back in automatic mode, so we'll see if it does it by itself. There it goes. Because there's no lever to switch into sport shift mode. There's no nothing. So paddle shifters, and it'll eventually take over duties again if you leave it alone enough. As far as how this rides, very calm, very comfortable on the road. With my family in our upcoming family review, we'll take it over some rough brick streets here in Tyler, Texas. But I can say from having driven it for a week now, it is a very comfortable vehicle. The turn in is good. it's very easy to maneuver around parking lots, very easy to maneuver up into my garage, which requires me going up a 15-degree incline and hitting a hard right as soon as I reach the top. So livability in this is excellent. I can absolutely see my family owning this and being more than happy with this vehicle, because it really is. It's simple to get in and use. It's very quiet and composed, easy to drive, a very comfortable place to ride in the front with the heated and ventilated seats, in the rear with the heated outboard seats, the recline. I was thoroughly impressed. That was the first time that I actually sat back there and got comfortable, and was impressed with the amount of legroom and the recline function and just how much I could see out of the skylight. So all 4 passengers in the outboard seats of this are going to be truly comfortable no matter where you go. That center seat is a little bit tight. You've got the center tunnel for the all-wheel drive system, so there are some compromises there in the middle. Some other advantages of this screen up front is when you put your turn signal on, the speedometer and the tachometer, depending on which turn signal you turn on, turns into a blind spot monitoring camera. Keep up with my cameraman here. Turns into a blind spot monitoring camera and allows you to see what's behind you. I have really come to appreciate Hyundai's alerts and their safety features. The lane keep in this works very well and does a very good job. You can just drive down the road with your hand rested here on the steering wheel. Does a great job of keeping you in the lane. If there's someone in your blind spot and you're trying to change lanes, it gives you a noticeable but not obnoxious chime to let you know don't do that. The parking sensors, same way. They're noticeable, but they're not obnoxious. And that's really my summary of the safety features in this vehicle. Noticeable, but not obnoxious, including the stop and go adaptive cruise control in this one. This does not have full stop and go. So if the lead car in front of you starts moving at a light, it'll actually chime at you, let you know that that lead car's going, and tell you to either flip the switch here or tap the accelerator pedal, and it'll start moving again. The braking feature, I've been in worse and I've been in better. It will get up close to a vehicle, maybe more so than I'm comfortable with, but you can adjust the lane key or the follow distance, but that full stop just sometimes made me cringe just a little bit coming up to them in stop and go traffic, but I've got to test it all out. It's got the skylight that I absolutely love. It's got 2-person memory seats, which works so well for me and my wife. The heated and ventilated seats with the ventilation that stays on even if you turn the vehicle off and back on. It remembers that you had it turned on the last time you were driving. It even works independently of the climate control, so you can actually drop all the windows down on a cool day and your backside won't get all sweaty because you can still have the fan going and moving some air underneath you. I'm really struggling to find something to dislike about this vehicle. Hyundai Motor Company, Motor Corporation, they have just done a spectacular job redefining themselves, reestablishing them as a serious player in the market to rival the likes of Toyota, really, and with one of the best warranties in the business. You would be hard-pressed to not cross-shop this if you were in the market for a RAV4. This really is a very good vehicle, and you should definitely check out your local Hyundai dealership if you are interested in a very good compact crossover. All right, one last thing I like to do is to check out the real world usability of all the vehicles that I drive. how tight is the turning radius in this Tucson? Well, I'm here for you in that. I am in a 2-lane divided highway with a turn lane in the middle, so not my typical spot to do this real-world U-turn test, but I think in this compact Tucson, 2 lanes will be more than enough to fully turn around. Full lock, here we go. And getting close, did not curb it, but was a little bit more than 2 lanes needed for this Hyundai Tucson to make that turn. Well, that about does it for the 2022 Hyundai Tucson. It really is a very well put together, very well valued vehicle for families, which takes me to my family. If you want to see what my family thinks of this, be sure and hit that subscribe button because we'll be dropping that video later this week. Give us a like and let me know down in the comments what you like or dislike about this $37,000 crossover that seems to have all the luxuries any family would need. I'm gonna hop in this one and take it for one last spin before I have to give it back. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, bye.